Hey everyone, it is Saturday, November 11th, 2017, and it's time to go to work on music. It's been a very good day. I'm in a really good place and excited for a productive session. Now, I do want to admit that I totally screwed up my timing of today and just slipping back into some old bad habits these past few days, and I could feel it kind of creeping in, and I just didn't do what I needed to do to nip it in the bud. So that's a good takeaway. I do feel like I have a little bit more, I don't know, ammunition these days to deal with that stuff when it comes up. Like I have a better idea of what I need to do to get back on track once I get off track, just from the experiences of getting off track a lot recently. But I'm doing better than ever with that, so I'm confident I can make a change today and fix that. But I just want to document this and make sure that when I'm just reviewing these materials for myself, that I realize, like, you know, it's a constant thing to get to the top of any situation. It takes a tremendous amount of energy, but to stay on top, I think in some ways it either takes more or just a different type of discipline. And for me, I'm not talking about being better than everyone else. I'm just talking about me being at the top of my own game, and then not just getting there for a day or two or a week, but like really staying there forever. So it's a good project, and I'm enjoying it, and it's also difficult. So, but from the greatest challenges come the greatest rewards. So I'm in it. Gonna hit some online classes, update you guys with what I'm doing there. Going to hit a quick guitar practice and just share my progress. I'm going to then dive into the production front and listen back to some guitar solos. I might give that another day. I'm just honestly kind of sick of listening to that stuff. I did so many takes of that solo, man. It's just, yeah. But then I'm going to start tracking drums, which is pretty exciting. So today's going to be a big day. I'll update you guys with what I accomplished at the end. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as always. Talk to you in a few. All right. Um, Definitely one of the worst sessions I've had in a while, like a while. Just in terms of my focus and my timing and sort of all the technical elements of the session, and in terms of what I accomplished as well. I just took a big step back today, and that's just not okay. So I'm gonna fix it, and sometimes you gotta have those days to just splash some water in your face, get the wake up call, and realize that you're not really performing up to standard. And we all have those days where we just, for whatever reason, we're phoning it in, and it's important to have some type of metric or something that you can look at and just say, like, hey, you're not really meeting expectations here, let alone exceeding them. So why am I saying that? Well, like I said earlier, I was late to the session by a pretty significant amount, so that already was starting off on a bad note. And then I figured, okay, let me just try to rescue this, just kind of try to get back on track. And I did, I just tried, but I didn't really do it. I was sort of having a difficult time focusing. I did get into the online class when I got some good work done there. But then when I went to do my guitar practice, I accidentally started doing the drum practice instead. So I knew I was going to need to warm up for later to do the drum tracking, and so I was like, oh well, I'll just do it now. And what I should have done is just stopped and then gone back to doing the guitar thing, because it just messed up the flow a little bit. So I finished the drum warm-up and then did my guitar practice and then took a break, and then the power went out for a little bit. So I was starting to think like, okay, well, obviously I'm not going to track drums if there's no power. But now that actually I would have needed it for the TD12. I guess I could have used the laptop battery power source, but with the MIDI controller now is not USB powered anymore. So I guess I could have improvised there, but that would have been pretty extreme. Possible though. But then the power came back on about 10 minutes later, so I thought, okay, let me get in and I got about 20 minutes left in the session, let me just get in and listen back to these guitar takes, and that wasn't the biggest waste of time, that was time well spent, but I also just didn't make a lot of headway there. I mean, I got a little bit of perspective, but I almost feel like right now I'm sort of digging through these takes just like hoping one of them's going to be good enough instead of just like admitting that maybe I should sit down and retrack it. But I want to think through that decision really carefully, because I don't want to get in this pattern of just tracking forever. But at the same time, I'd love to just track something that's perfect, and I feel like I'm very capable of that, and it's really just like a willpower thing and like a patience thing, you know. So I was getting some really good stuff toward the end of my last session on the guitar takes front, so that definitely would be great if I could continue that momentum. But I want to make sure and do my diligence that I haven't just skated over something that could be really good and I'm just like driving myself crazy for no reason, if that makes sense. So didn't get any drum tracking done today, and I just had a lot on my mind outside the session, and I really want to get better at just putting that stuff aside and not letting it come into the session at all. And that's hard. It's really hard to just block everything else out, especially with the phone and different things going on. But I've realized like the best thing for me to do when the music session starts is I lock myself in the room, I don't leave, I don't take any phone calls, I don't text anybody, I don't deal with anything outside of life for whatever that 4 hours is going to be, or 2 hours, or 1 hour. And yeah, that's extreme. It's really extreme. But Tom Bilyeu, who's the founder of Quest Nutrition and a really rich guy and really successful guy, but also shares a lot of his wisdom and interviews a lot of people on a show called Impact Theory on YouTube, and just, you know, really inspirational guy. And he was like, you know, it's really easy to live by bright lines, you know, like it's easy to live in a yes-no world. Should I be doing this right now? Yes or no? Instead of a world with a lot of negotiable boundaries where you're just like, well, maybe I'll do this and maybe I'll come back to that later and maybe I'll, you know. And it's a challenge to force ourselves to do that, because I think for me, I've spent a lot of time in that gray area of life, and I'm really trying to get out of that and become a little bit more binary in terms of my decision making. And yeah, there's a downside to that, but also there's a ton of upside to that, which is your focus doesn't get interrupted, and your success with anything is pretty much going to be a function of your ability to focus on it. So it's a good challenge, you know. I'm accepting it open-heartedly, and I'm excited for the road ahead, and I know that it's going to make me stronger and better. And today I just took a big loss, so I'm just going to feel the pain of that, let that sting a little bit, and then be a little older, a little wiser tomorrow. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. You know, not every day is sunshine and rainbows, but you know, I'm so lucky to have the opportunity to do this and to make these mistakes and to have, you know, 4 hours in a day and be able to be late, and it's all just on me now, you know. But don't ever for a second think that I'm not incredibly grateful for every single second of my life. And as a result of that, I take every single second very seriously. So if I'm not doing something right, that's a problem. And I know not everyone takes themselves that seriously, and that's okay. That's totally okay, and I'm not trying to say everyone should be like that. I'm just sharing my process and hoping you guys can, through just observing it, you know, either help that define your own process, like, oh yeah, I'm more like Isaac, or actually, you know, like, I don't believe in what Isaac's doing at all, and his philosophy is the total opposite of what I want. Well, that's still valuable, you know. You've had a chance to define yourself that much more clearly, you know. And if there's anything that you want to take away or anything you want to add by commenting or sharing any knowledge or wisdom you have on the situation, then feel free. So, hope you guys are out there grinding towards your goals, enjoying the process. That's what I'm out here doing, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Till then.